Welcome to the Private Practice Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Storme, here to help you unlock the mind, business, and spirit of your private practice success. So whether you're just starting out or you're looking to grow, this is the place for you if you really want to create a thriving private practice. Before we dive in, I want to share something that can really make a difference in your business. Imagine having an expert in your pocket, someone available on demand whenever you need guidance. Well, that's exactly what my new program, Practice Momentum, offers. With over 30 years of experience at your fingertips, you can now get the support you need whenever you need it. Curious? Head over to brooklynstorme.com to learn more. And now let's get into today's episode.
Hi, my name is Chloe and I'm part of the Practice Momentum program. I've been working with Brooklyn for a couple of months now and I can't believe it took me this long. Before I joined Momentum, I was trying to do everything. I was trying to refine my marketing. I was trying to update my website all the time. I was trying to network. I was trying to build my practice, and I had absolutely no idea what to focus on, what I needed to do first. I couldn't understand why nothing was working. It was so stressful because there was no money coming in at that point, and I had been following Brooklyn for a few years and I always wanted to do coaching with her, and I always kind of put it off because I didn't feel like I was at that point in time. It was my imposter syndrome pretty badly. Fast forward, the time felt right. Brooklyn was so accommodating and helpful with finding a way for me to do the program, and it's been absolutely life-changing. Brooklyn has helped me to plan and make goals and break down bigger tasks. Like, don't just do a website, actually break it into parts so you have areas to focus on, which I've never done before. I'm so grateful. I reached all of my goals in the last quarter, and that led to a massive increase in my caseload, in my income, and my website is actually generating referrals now, which is incredible. I didn't think it would ever happen. So I'm so grateful. If you're thinking about it, don't wait as long as I did. Absolutely do it. I couldn't speak highly enough of Brooklyn, her generosity, her care, and compassion.
Okay, welcome back to another episode. Yes, I know, I'm recording 2 in one day because I'm just in the mood. And you know how when you're in the mood for stuff, like everything just sort of flows and it comes easily? Yeah, I'm just feeling super inspired. So I thought I'd answer another question. So here we go. This one is going to be about supervision. So there are a couple of questions that popped up in our community this week on supervision. So I'm going to try and answer them. And also, of course, give you insights from someone who's run both individual and group. And hopefully can give you a little bit of insight and heads up on a few things. And also too, someone in one of my other communities was asking, well, a couple of people were actually, they're asking about how do you go about getting supervision clients, once you're qualified, like how do you get the whole thing started? And somebody else was saying, do we need another website for the supervision? So let's get into it. Okay, supervision. I think supervision is a brilliant from a business perspective for a couple of reasons. First off, I think it is a really beautiful, special way for you to give back and to help not only existing people, but, existing therapists and stuff like that, but I think also to support up-and-comers, right, who are really looking for guidance that, you offer. So I think it's really a beautiful, beautiful thing for so many reasons. From a business perspective, I think it's also awesome because it's another revenue stream. And then I think too, in terms of personally, it is great for you because it breaks up the work. It gets you out of solely and wholly perhaps doing the sit on the couch in the room, one-to-one sort of work, if that's what you mostly do. And it gets you speaking to peers, colleagues, having different types of conversations. And I think that is worth its weight in gold, because it can do all kinds of things. And, one of those things is it can help, stave off burnout, because you're not seeing the same thing and the same presentations day in, day out. Like, there's a little bit of a mix, for example. So it's variety in your work can be so helpful, super important, super valuable. And I think supervision is an easy transition into another income stream. If you're currently only doing or mostly relying on doing counselling, therapy, psychology, social work, I would absolutely encourage you to consider moving into a supervision space. So, in terms of a website, do you need another one? Yes or no? I say no. I think, you already have a website. It doesn't make sense for you to go off and do a whole other one. It's going to be an extra cost, more time, all of that. I really believe in keeping your private practice lean and simple, right? So I would just say add another tab. So you know how across the top of your website it says, what have you got? Home, about, then you've got services, fees, frequently asked questions, blog if you've got one, contact, and book now. They're all your tabs across the top. Just have another one that says supervision. Don't do anything like don't try and make it sound like more important than it is by going for professionals or, resources or things like that. No, make it really, really clear. Just put supervision. Put clinical supervision if you want to, but just put the word there. Make it easy for people to get started, right? If we hide what it actually is behind other language, you could be missing out on people clicking the page, and we don't want that. Yes, so definitely have a page on your website for it. The standard things apply. So you're going to optimize the page for SEO so that it can be found by the supervisees. That just means using keywords, making sure it's working, no broken links. You've got your H1 and H2s working, so that's your big headings, and then your subheadings, that's your H1 and H2. Having book now buttons, get started button, ask me anything button, like whatever it is. Just make it super easy for people to get started. So that's that. Don't overcomplicate it. You don't need a whole other page. No. Another question was, so this is very practical, isn't it? Another question was about, how do I take bookings for group supervision, and do you have any advice on taking payments? So I do. Again, I'm just going to say keep it really simple. So if you've got practice management software, like maybe you've got Halixi or Xander or Splos or, all the ones, they have an option for group bookings. So just use that option. It allows you to cap the number of people that book in. So you can limit it to, say, 6 people. I'm not saying you have to do 6. I'm just giving you an example. But you can limit it to however many people you wanted to come. And then when they, go to register for it, they click that, booking link, that appointment type, they fill out the details. They're going to get not a client intake form, but they're going to get the supervision agreement and the supervision intake form and all those kinds of things. So they get all of that. And you take payment, obviously, when they book in. So that's one way of doing it. I think that is really easy. If you wanted to make it even easier, I would just say, if you want to join the next supervision run, I'll keep them closed, right? So you've got the same core group of people every time. There are reasons behind that, but I would definitely keep it closed, not where you've got random people coming in and leaving. Have a closed group, say, right, the next closed group for Mondays at 7 p.m. till 8:30 p.m. starts on, 1st of August, and it costs this much. And just have a link to a checkout page do it in your Flowdesk, do it in Stripe, do it in PayPal, whatever you want. Just have a link. They pay for the whole lot. And then once they pay for that, they get your, onboarding. So they get the agreement, they get all the things, any forms you want them to fill out, and information on, how to log into the session. So, let them know when they'll get their Zoom link, let them know how to add that to their calendar, all those kinds of things. So just make it really simple like that. And definitely bundle it up, because bundling it up just makes it easier for everyone. They know they're getting a certain number of sessions. If you bundle it up and you use a payment processor like Stripe, for example, and you just do like a little Stripe checkout, they can also do things like pay in full, or they can, you can give them the option of split pay and stuff like that sometimes. Or I think Stripe also, you can set it up as a subscription, so they'll like pay it off monthly or something. So you've got some options there, some flexibility that will really work for your clients. So probably the simplest way. So it's bookings and payments. That's the website. Somebody else had another question. I'll think of it eventually. What's more on my mind at the moment is getting clients for your supervision. So if that would be helpful, let me speak to that. I think that if you want to get clients for your supervision, you have to take the same approach with your marketing as you do for clients you work with in your private practice for therapy. In that, you need a niche. The reason I know this is from my own experience, and also my experience helping you guys get clients for your supervision, services. I can tell you hands down, people that are just like, I'm a supervisor, come along. It takes them so much longer than people who've got a niche. So choose a niche for your supervision. Say, I'm a supervisor. My area of interest is, grief, loss and trauma. I'm particularly passionate about working with Gabor Mate's framework for compassionate grief. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you do that, then straight away, other therapists who are working in the grief and loss space know that you can help them and know that you can support them and stuff like that. So I would just do that, and you will see that you get clients more quickly. That's probably the easiest way to do it. You don't have to undercharge for your supervision. You don't have to overcharge for your supervision. I think set the right rate. I think if you're just starting out, it can be really great initially if you wanted to just offer maybe some smaller little bundles or packages, maybe 3 sessions, and get some feedback from everybody after it's all finished, and use that feedback to help you improve the marketing of the supervision down the track. Because this is the other thing. Sometimes we get excited and we're like, oh, I'm going to go off and get my supervision qualification. You get it, and then you come back, and then you're like, great, you whack it up on the website, and it's like, where are the clients? And then you're posting in Facebook groups that you're a supervisor, and you still don't get clients, and then you think it's because of the money, and so then you drop your fee, and it's still not working, and all the things. So I would definitely say have a niche, be really, really clear about it, and go from there. All right, you've got to market the service. It's not enough just to pop it on the website, because you're marketing the private practice to your clients, but you also need to market your supervision. So you can do it on the one Instagram profile if you're on socials. You can do it on your website. It doesn't matter. You can mix the two, not a problem. But you have to market the supervision, and you've got to do it consistently. You can't just randomly post somewhere that you've got spots available. If nobody knows who you are, what you do, the type of supervision you provide, how you provide it, your frameworks, all those kinds of things, right? So you need to understand how to market the supervision. That's what I'm saying. Have a niche for the supervision. Does not have to be the same as your therapy. Have a message that is specific to your desired supervisees, the supervisees you really want to be calling in and working with, have a special message for them so that they know straight when they see it that yes, you're the supervisor for them. And have create for yourself a marketing plan, put in place a marketing strategy that supports the plan, implement it, track your numbers, and tweak and change as you go along based on the data. That's the easiest, simplest way to do it. But yeah, I just want to be really clear with you so that you don't have expectations that being a supervisor is enough. That's kind of like, saying, well, I'm a qualified counsellor, therefore I'm going to be great at private practice. Yeah, they're two completely different things. You can't wing it as a counsellor. You've got to actually go and learn how to do it. It's the same for business, right? You can't just wing. Well, it's probably even, I was going to say more serious. It's not more serious. I'd say it's as serious, but it's different consequences because it's about, your business, your money, your livelihood, your responsibilities, all that kind of stuff. You don't want to be risking that to chance. So anyway, it's the same with supervision. You can't just assume now you've got the qualification, the clients should just start appearing. They won't if they don't know who you are. So you do need to market it. And marketing, as you know, is not about your availability or anything like that. Marketing these days now, I'm always recommending must be story based. No chat GPT, no, don't, just keep it quite story based, relevant to the client. And as I said in the last episode, be really clear about the problem that the group of supervisees that you want to work with is having and sell them the solution to that. Supervision is the how, but it's not the solution, right? Supervision's how you're going to get them there, but you have to sell them the solution. So it's going to require you to do your research, connect with your ideal clients, listen, do a few sessions first, maybe one-to-one, start to see the emerging themes, trends and patterns, and then build out your marketing based on those discussions. And that's how you get started. I know. Of course, there are going to be people saying, oh, should I go in the ACA directory or the AASW directory and stuff? Of course you should. Like, it's never going to hurt you to do that. Do they convert? The answer is rarely. Why? A few reasons. They generally don't have fantastic SEO because the websites don't. So somebody's probably going to be looking for you by name. And if they're looking for you by name, they're going to find you through your website before they come to a directory profile. So that's what I'm saying. Always, website has to be first. So yeah, and the other reason directory profiles don't work is because people just smash them out. Like, I don't know. I've seen people say to me, "Oh yeah, I just went and listed myself on a few directories today." I'm like, how? It takes time to actually craft a profile because each directory has a different audience, and so yeah, if you're not writing to that audience, you're not going to get a client. And you can't just smash it out. You can't just write one and copy and paste it into all the different directories and expect to get a client, because it doesn't work that way. Psychology Today has a certain type of person using it versus the ACA directory, right? Versus the APS directory. Different types of people. So no, you can't just copy and paste. It'd be nice if you could. It really would be easy. And I'm on board with you 100%. If that's been your approach, I get it. I hear you. It wouldn't have been lovely if it was like that. But if that's what you've done that's not working, now you know why, which is a good thing, because that means that now you know why, and you can change it. You can go and fix them, give them a little bit of an edit and a makeover. And what else did I want to share with you today? I also wanted to share with you, sorry, I'm just a little bit distracted at the moment because there's it's really nice scenery. I'm just going over the bridge here. So Phillip Island has a little bridge connecting it to San Remo. So this is the tip of the bottom of Victoria. And it's just really nice just going over that little bridge and bay there. Yeah, so I guess the other thing is I want to give you like a little bit of an update on what's going on. Remember, I was doing the plan for you to make the 100k in 90 days, and so I've been like mapping out all my actions and everything. Well, I've got 3 weeks left with that, which is good. Like, I can't wait to see how I'm going with it, because it's a metric that I have been tracking, but deliberately like averting my gaze, because I kind of want to be surprised when I see it, which I'm sure I will be. But yeah, I've got it over in a separate part of my spreadsheet, self-calculating, so I don't have to see it, because yeah, I just want to see what happens. But I tell you what, it's been interesting. So if you're new, I'll just tell you quickly so you've got the context, you can catch up. Last quarter, well, just after last quarter, yeah, I was away. And while I was away, I was looking at my numbers, and I realised, so surprised, that I generated 100k in the quarter. And that's a surprise, because that feels like a big number. But it felt like a big number to me, because I hadn't really worked that much compared to what I normally do, because I was so sick. I know some of you remember, but I was so sick, and I didn't work for January and, like half of February. I had just started a new program, so it didn't even get like the luxury of a proper launch, because I was not well. But anyway, so I did that, and then the way that I work now is that I don't do one-to-ones anymore. It's not that I don't, it's that I'm finishing existing commitments that I've got with clients who are doing one-to-one with me on contracts and stuff like that. So of course I'm going to finish with them and honour those commitments, but not doing more 1-hour sessions in the diary, right? So yeah, a lot less client-facing work, and I think probably the way that it worked using my new model, I was probably seriously, in terms of client time, it would have been maybe 2 or 3 hours a week. So yeah, I was really surprised that I saw the numbers and it was 100k. I was very surprised. I went back and I looked at bank statements, my Henry and my this and my that, and yeah, it was all accurate. The numbers were accurate, and it got me really excited for a moment. But then the fear set in of like, how did I do it? Can I do it again? Was it a fluke? All of this, and so I had the idea of seeing if I could replicate it, because I thought if I can do it, and I can replicate it, then I'll be able to teach it to the people inside Momentum, so that they can have a go as well. And maybe, they're going to have to customize it, obviously, for their practice and the way they want to work. But if I can give them the process, if they get the skeleton, if they get the bones, it'll just be a matter of, putting the right stuff on that framework for them, and then they should be good to go. This is my theory. This is my theory. And, it's also kind of scary, because I'm being so public about it. Well, that's not true. I'm being open with you about it. I'm not talking about it in my emails or in my communities or anything like that. I do just talk about it here. But, this is Australia's most downloaded private practice podcast, I just found out, and it's Australia's biggest private practice podcast. I also just found out it's got more episodes than any other private practice podcast. So I know there's a bunch of listeners, and so yeah, sometimes I just have to tell myself it's okay to be vulnerable. Don't get scared. Like, don't back out. Like, you said you were going to do it. Like, do it. No one's judging you. They're cheering you on. They're on your side. But it's pretty scary, because yeah, there's part of me that's like, oh my God, what if I tell them I'm going to do this and then I mess it up and it doesn't work out? And what if it's only a 20k quarter or something like that? So I'm kind of just putting that noise to one side. What I've been doing is every single day, I just made myself a very basic Google sheet, and I just literally, I've got 3 columns, one column for each 30-day block, and I'm just listing anything that I did in the business to generate 100K. So things like responding to emails and admin and, being in my socials, I'm still doing that, but it's not going on the list. The things that are going on the list are stuff like updating the website, fixing a waitlist page, checking links that are broken or not broken, and doing stuff like that, right? And, I was looking at the list the other day, like the end of last week, because I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, like, I've only got a few weeks left. I think I had around 4 weeks, and it was this time last week. So yeah, I've got I think just over 3 weeks. And yeah, I thought, let's just have a quick look, because I'm just kind of like brain dumping and then not actually reviewing anything. My goal is write it down before I forget it. And the plan is, once it's all written down, do a video about it, going over it, scrutinizing it, self-analyzing it, and then, tightening it up, I guess, and making it better, more effective, more powerful, like seeing what the mess ups were and everything. But anyway, I couldn't resist, and yeah, at the end of last week, I thought I'm just going to have a quick cast of the eye down my columns, and it's a dog's breakfast. It's a dog's breakfast. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I would love to be able to sit here and tell you that, I'm just so proud of myself. This is so neat and organized, and it's categorized, and it's this and it's that, and I can clearly see, no, it's a hot mess. Hot mess express. That's what my spreadsheet looks like. It's a mess. And it looks chaotic. I mean, yes, it's just 3 columns, so don't get me wrong, like visually it doesn't. But when you start reading line after line, you're just like, what was she doing? It doesn't make any sense. There's no head or tail. You look at it and you're like, tell me you've got ADD without telling me you've got ADD. Like, that's what you're going to, and I will not edit this. I'm going to give the people in Momentum the raw stuff, right? And then I'm going to give them like my polished version. But I want to show them like the raw stuff, because I want them to actually see what it looks like. Because I think sometimes when we try new things, we put expectations on ourselves that, yeah, it needs to look a certain way and feel a certain way, be a certain way, all this. But I'm just going to be like, yeah, what you see is what you get. It's not pretty, but this is it. And we're going to deal with this mess together, and I'm going to walk you through it, and I'm going to show you my reflections on what I'm thinking, and then I'm going to show you what I'm doing now, right? Next, what I've learned from that, and refine it and keep refining it until I get it to a point where I have a very clear, structured roadmap that they can use to call in this 100K, because I've just decided this is what's going to happen. And when I decide stuff, as I said to you in a previous episode a week or 2 ago, when you decide stuff, that's when everything shifts and changes. So I've just decided I'm making them this roadmap. I've just decided, this is what we're doing. And if they want to generate 100K a year, they'll be able to use this and customize it for their business, their values, all those kinds of things, and have it, right? Or something very close to it anyway. And the reason that I'm being like so raw about it as well, and not holding back, even though I'm dead embarrassed and, probably I'm going to be mortified at the end result, like when my 90 days is up, I'm going to be like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing, like what are they going to think of me? The reason that I'm doing that is also because I want them to feel okay being vulnerable with me. I mean, I asked them to show me everything, right? everything. And sometimes they really hate it. Sometimes they don't love me for that. Sometimes I'm not their favourite person and they want to avoid me. They want to just, oh no, Brooklyn's coming. Put your head down. Pretend you haven't seen. So I know what it's like for them to be vulnerable. So I just want to show them that I get it. I see them. I'm going to be vulnerable with them too. So anyway, but when I had a look at it, apart from it being like a dog's breakfast, I could see straight away, because I'm looking back now on a month or two, I can look back 2 months ago when I first started the little, exercise. I can see that I was doing a whole lot of things that I thought were actually really helpful, and they weren't. And I know that because I can also see that I've gone and undone things the following month or 2 months later. I've gone, yep, no, let's swap that back to how it was. For example, my sales page, you'll hear all about that. For some reason, I figured that if I was going to take this seriously and I really wanted to make sure that it was getting results, that I needed to level up, right? I got totally in my masculine energy and I was like, girl, you need to level up. What are you doing with this website being all, soft pinks and, blah, blah, blah. And so, you need to go and fix this and you need to make it look more, higher level, I guess. So I mucked around with my website, changed a lot of stuff. I don't love it. It's getting changed on the weekend, back probably to what it was, but better. And then the other thing that I did was I made this whole other waitlist page for one of my programs, like the program Momentum, Practice Momentum. So I made a whole new waitlist and sales page for that, got rid of the others, and looked at them in month 2, and I was like, WTF, this doesn't even look like me. What on earth was I thinking? No. And then had to spend time redoing it. So I've been able to identify some patterns, and that's been helpful because now I can, before I go and do something, I can ask myself, hang on, is this a pattern here, that I'm about to step into? Do I really want to do it or not? I can also see things that I've done that were helpful, like tracking. That was so helpful. I can also see things that already I could be doing better. So I can already identify improvements for doing this again for my next 90 days. And that's good. It's been a massive lesson. I can see where I've been working hard and thinking that I was making progress, but I can also see, I wasn't actually doing anything that got me closer to the 100. So that's been helpful to see that. I mean, frustrating, but also helpful because now I know I don't need to do those things. And honestly, if you have a look at the spreadsheet, you will see it's just row after row after row of things. It's not like I haven't been doing anything. I have, but the next one is probably going to have nowhere near. I can cut it I could probably get rid of 90% of the things. So that's been a massive lesson. And I'm really excited in a way to see how it goes. In terms of Practice Momentum, I am enrolling at the moment and I had 20 places available and I approved 3 people to come in over the last week. So that feels good. Yes, they could have started and they were happy to start on the 15th, but I made a decision to let them in earlier because of where they were and because they were highly motivated, and I just didn't see the sense. It didn't make sense to me in a responsive program that's built and marketed on its responsiveness to make them wait. So they're in and doing well, and I'm really excited for their journeys, and it's so nice. They've connected with some of the other people. They started working on their 90-day plans. It's great. I love it. It's the best. Apart from that, the other thing that's sort of happening behind the scenes is the national standards. So I know some of you have got questions about that. I do have news about that. I can't share it just yet, but I will when I can. So I've just got to wait to get the green light. But yes, I do have updates on that, and more than happy to share them. What else did I want to share with you? Oh, just trying to think. Oh, okay. Tip. This is a tip here. And this is around neurodivergence. If you're selling, all right. Someone reached out to me recently, and she was like, blah blah blah, Etsy this, Etsy that, I'm gonna sell templates, blah blah blah. Okay, fine. And then she was like, can you help me increase my revenue with it? And anyway, I went over, had a look at her shop, which was not on Etsy yet. It's actually on Gumroad, which I don't recommend. I think Gumroad is a friggin' nightmare. I would never recommend it. It's got really poor SEO. The conversion rates are really low. The traffic's really low. I mean, have you ever seriously typed in gumroad.com? Probably not. But have you ever typed in Etsy? Probably yes. So I think, yeah, get yourself an Etsy. But here's the thing. She had a template bundle, and I recognised it straight away as being from Secret Weapon, and you know how I feel about that. I think Secret Weapon is awesome. I love it. I use some of the templates too, but use them as a base, right? So if you're feeling stuck and you're not quite sure, or you want to save time and things like that, and you want to get something that's already sort of laid out and pre-formatted, and you don't have to come up with the design aspect, fantastic, go for it. But you've got to change the content. And yeah, so this one she had changed the covers and things like that. She'd pulled all the things together for a bundle, but I was really disappointed and frustrated because she had like this whole ADHD bundle, and it was, yeah, I thought, I'm going to buy it and just see. I already knew before I bought it that it wasn't going to be customized. I just knew. And then, yeah, I bought her bundle. It had a ADHD planner, it had that ADHD journal, it had the ADHD workbook, it had, hashtag all the ADHD things basically that are in Secret Weapon, and none of them had been customized. And I was also frustrated for her clients because they hadn't been customized. I was frustrated for her because I know how she wants to set up passive income, and she doesn't understand why it's not working. So I was frustrated for her around that. And I was frustrated for myself as a consumer because when I went through these things as somebody with, ADHD myself, these things just don't work. I mean, yeah. The actual templates, I've gone through them as a person with ADHD, and there's just no way on earth they work for me. So I cannot, in all good faith and conscience, even with rebranding, customizing, personalizing, even if I made them for neurodivergent therapists who are starting a private practice, here's your ADHD planner, I couldn't sell these things. Yeah, just not going to work. So disappointing from a consumer perspective, but also I think, just disappointing because I want, when you sell things through your business, if you sell stuff that doesn't work, do you think you're going to sell more? No. What do you think is going to happen to your shop ratings? What do you think is going to happen to your business reputation? When you sell, workbooks, journals, things like that, you're never just selling them for the sake of selling that thing and making, $10,000 a month from selling a $27 journal. That's not how it works. There's a strategy behind selling the low ticket thing, and that is to get people into the high ticket thing, right? Which is moving into buying a counselling session with you, for example. So it's a stepping stone. So if you're putting out stuff and you're saying that it's going to do all of these things for somebody and then they use it and it doesn't, do you think they're ever going to turn into a client? No, they're not. So it's very important if you're selling other people's work, which is what Secret Weapon is. And I'm just using that as the example because I know so many of you use it too. And I use it, yes. But what was I going to say? I just forgot what I was going to say. But test it, right? Don't just download all of the things, quickly put them in your colors, and then list them on Etsy or your website because they won't sell. Take time. Treat it seriously. It's an asset for your business. Every PDF, for example, worksheet, cheat sheet, whatever it is that you're using, every single one of them is an asset for the business. So just rushing through it to get it up and then say, I've got an Etsy store, I've got a shop, I've got this. It's not helping the business. It's not a smart way to do it. And I understand why you've been doing it. It's just because maybe you didn't realise. But I'm letting you know there's a whole thing behind it, right? It's not just about getting something up. So yeah, you've got to have like an understanding of the process, yes, but instead of having 100 things up just because Secret Weapon had its annual monthly drop of, the 15 new products or whatever, and you got your hot little hands on all of them, no, it's better to just do one or two things, work on them. So you know how you've got the time in your diary where you work on the business, use it for that 1 week, right? Just say, okay, I'm going to sit down and for the next hour, I'm going to focus on testing this product. I'm going to see if it actually works, right? That's it. I'm going to give this product free of charge to 3 clients that I really love working with who will be happy to receive it for free in exchange for their honest feedback about how useful they found it. Do that. And then at least that way you're getting feedback from your clients about, I really liked it, but it was too long. I like the idea of it, but it just didn't work because I couldn't concentrate for long enough. Or, do you know what I mean? Get the feedback. And then with that feedback, go, okay, great, I'm seeing a trend here. Let me go make some revisions. Make the revisions, give the updated copy to those few people again and say, thanks so much for your feedback. I wanted to show you how I've incorporated it, right? And give them the updated copy as a acknowledgement, as a way of saying thank you, showing appreciation and gratitude. And how nice is it for them to see their suggestions and feedback being implemented? It's really nice. It's really lovely. It's a good thing that you can do. So, plus, they're helping you get sales, right? And a sale of that thing, right? Well, it might only be $27. For every 100 that you sell, 8 are going to turn into clients if you do this right. And if, that average client at your practice stays for 6 sessions and you're charging $150 a session, well, that's like, hang on, I just got to, that's about $8,000, $8,000. So, yeah, you definitely want to set aside time to get this set up so that it works and it can bring in revenue to your private practice. Somebody was asking me, do I still have my Etsy shop? And the answer is no, I do not. There are reasons for that. The first reason, as I think I may have mentioned in a previous episode or 2 or 7, was I had a shop on Etsy that was doing so well. It was bringing me close to an extra $1,500 a month just selling all low ticket stuff, right? Now, maybe to you that doesn't sound like a lot of money, but it adds up. It adds up. it's a lot. And then anyway, one day I just went to log in, and I've been locked out of my account, and yeah, couldn't get back in, and my shop had been, I think they say suspended or something. My shop got suspended and all the things, and yeah, I couldn't get in touch with them. Like I was, oh yeah, I had to like lodge an appeal and all this. So I did all of that, and no reply, no reply, no reply. And then I ended up going to, so I think they're based in, oh, I'm probably going to get this wrong, so don't quote me on it, but it's another country. I can't remember if it's like British Columbia or if it's America or Canada or wherever. But anyway, they're over in another country, and yeah, there's a process there, and it's called Better Bureau. So I was in a group online for people with Etsy shops, and I was saying, OMG, this has just happened. Like, has this happened to you? Like, has this happened to anybody else? What do I do? Like, and because I'm such a bloody goody two-shoes, I knew I hadn't done anything wrong. I knew I hadn't broken any rules or anything like that. But just like, why is my shop randomly shut down, put on suspension, and no one's responding to my appeals and all of this? And anyway, they were great, and the people in this community, and it turned out that at the time, so yeah, it was a little while ago now, but at the time, Etsy were just on a spate, and there were so many of us that had it done, and we were all in the exact same boat. The other women were saying too, oh my God, like it's happened to me as well, and my shop was doing so well, and this, that, and the other. And then they were saying how Etsy wasn't replying to them, this, that, and the other. And then, oh, I have to say, like, is there, I mean, I don't know if comforting is the right word, because you never like to hear about other women in business, like, having their businesses ripped away from them, which is why I'm so on my high horse about the national standards in their current form. Anyway, other topic, I know. But it was like, I just felt like, oh, thank God it wasn't just me. That was probably how I felt. And so I took like some relief in that. But I wanted my shop back. Like, imagine if that had been my bread and butter, like my sole form of income, instead of just a fun thing that I was doing on the side. Not great. So anyway, yeah, they said in there, go to the Better Business Bureau, and yeah, they gave me links, and they gave me like templates of what to say when I go and put a notification with BBB, Better Business Bureau. And so I did all of that, and then get this, I get an email back from Better Business saying, yep, thanks, they're going to follow up with Etsy. And then they sent me an email like a little while later, and they say, yeah, we're still trying to follow up, but we'll let you know how it goes. And then they come back to me like months later, and they said, Etsy aren't replying to us, and so we're going to leave the case open. But yeah, not sure what to advise you here. We will put a notice on the Better Business Bureau website, a notification against Etsy for bad business practices. And I don't want that for Etsy, because I don't want that for any business, right? I don't want any business to have like a bad review. No, I know how hard it is to build good ones. People can very easily be a keyboard warrior and write shitty comments about you and like tear down your business. But it's really hard to get people to take time to write something nice about your business. So I would never, ever, 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 ever want to criticize a business publicly or have them have a bad review. But anyway, yeah, Better Business just said, yeah, we're putting a warning up. And so they did. And then it turned out there are actually heaps of warnings up. Mine wasn't the only one. I went back into that group for people who are selling on Etsy. There's so many groups, by the way, on Facebook for selling on Etsy. You should definitely get into one if you're not and you want to sell. And yeah, the same thing. So a whole lot of people also got the exact same letter back from Better Business Bureau saying Etsy weren't responding to their letters either. I know. Can you believe that? So, yeah, it was just, I don't know, maybe Etsy was just on a big thing at some time, and I don't know, like, none of us have any idea why our shops were closed. We couldn't get them back. We couldn't get into our accounts. We couldn't even use a consumer account. And the reason why is because Etsy, when you sign up as a consumer or customer and as a shopkeeper, storekeeper, store owner, whatever, with Etsy, you agree to their terms. I know all this now. You agree to their terms. And one of the things is that they track everything you do by your IP. So, of course, if you're there on your computer, it doesn't matter if you go and use a different email address and create a new Etsy account. They still won't let you open a new store because they're registering that you're doing it from the same IP that they banned you from. So, yeah, I know. Like, how's that? I don't really feel comfortable with that. But anyway, it's what happened. So, and it happened to lots of us. And yeah, to this day, there's so many of us that just lost our stores overnight. It all happened within a couple of weeks. And yeah, nobody's any the wiser. So I don't have my Etsy store is the short version. However, would I do it again? Would I recommend it? I would honestly say I would do it again because it was a great earner for me. The lesson that I learned was you got to customize stuff. You can't just grab a template and use it. You got to customize it. You got to make it for your audience. The more specific it is, the more it will sell. And you've got to, on Etsy, you've got to take advantage of every single thing. So when I was doing it, I think you could put 10 photos in a video or something, so you should definitely do that. The products that I had that had videos and, you know, I'd used all of the graphic options, got way more sales than ones that didn't. And also with your descriptions, make sure they're SEO optimized. Make sure you've got really good follow-up with people. Make sure that with customers and things like that, make sure you have your coupons and vouchers all automated, ready to go. I didn't get complaints from anybody about my products or things like that. Most of the time I got 5-star ratings. I think once I got you're going to get them, right, just a negative Nelly. I had, one or two of those. And you know what? There's not much you can do about that. And it does bring down your overall star rating. But a blind man on his galloping horse, as my nana used to say, could easily see that there was not an issue with your product, that the person who left the review is obviously perhaps not having a great day, and you can clearly see that by the way that they wrote their comments. So, don't get too worried about your star ratings and things like that. I would definitely do it again. In fact, I don't know, like, if there's a cooling off period with Etsy for this, or I don't know, maybe when I get home, I should go on and see if I'm still blocked, if I'm still banned. Because if I'm not, I'm absolutely open to starting a whole new shop. Because, as I said, it was great getting that little bit of extra money. It's not really a little bit, is it? $1,500. And because I've got the experience behind me too now, like I know not to waste my time on certain things and to focus my time on other things. Because I got kind of swept up in the whole let's make everything beautiful and blah, 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 and isn't this wonderful, instead of doing it with a business mind. So I know now, do it with a business mind, and it will be even better. So, just things like that, really. Have your templates, but I would say have your templates. Get into Secret Weapon, get your templates, but always just go and customize them and get off Gumroad, for goodness sake. Get onto a proper platform like Etsy. you will just make bucket loads more sales if you know what you're doing. It's really, really fun. It's easy. And the other reason that I really loved Etsy was because once you've got something up, you never have to worry about it again unless something changes, right? And something did change before my shop shut, and that was Canva introduced a update to their terms, and it said you are no longer allowed to use the Canva. You know how they've got the letter C? You weren't allowed to use that. You weren't allowed to use the word Canva on any of your covers for Etsy. So you couldn't use the Canva colors, you couldn't use the C, you couldn't use the word Canva, none of the Canva badges, none of them. And they were taking, they were threatening people and, taking people to court over it. So, yeah, we had to, I had at one stage, it was nearly 1,000 products up. I think I was up to 888 or something, and nearly all of them had the letter C on them, the Canva logo. So, yeah, it took me time to work through. I don't know, maybe that was why I was banned and blocked. I don't know. Because I certainly hadn't got through updating them all because of the volume of them. So maybe that was why. I don't know. It would have been helpful to know why my shop was suspended and all of that. It would have been so helpful to know. I still, to this day, have no idea. I can only hypothesize, and that's really the only thing that I could come up with. Once that rule came out, I just had so many things that needed to go and change. But I don't know. But yeah, I'll definitely do it again. Do your templates, personalize them, make them super specific, make sure they solve a problem, test that they actually work, because if they don't, it's not nice for anybody. You want repeat clients. The only way to get a repeat client is for them to have a win with your product or service. And that's easy to do. It's really easy to give people wins. Don't hold back. Let them have a win, because it does good things for their relationship with your brand and your business. Okay, and that's worth its weight in gold. So yeah, just a little bit of behind the scenes there, a little bit about your supervision. The other thing too with your supervision, consider having inclusions. So an inclusion might be, supervision logbook, a way that they could record their supervision hours, a way they can prepare for supervision, a journal where they can take the supervision notes, a document or some kind of thing where they can make notes for themselves in between sessions of things that they want to raise in the next session. Do you know what I mean? Like, give them useful things. Don't tell them that you're going to give them those useful things. Just let them receive them and be surprised, right? Don't even say, I've got a surprise for you. Don't, because then it's not really a surprise and it takes away from the fun of it. I would always say surprise and delight is the way to go, because we want to give people the experience of having a lovely experience with your private practice. So anyway, that's it. Supervision, a bit about behind the scenes, where we're up to with the 100k roadmap, and what to do in terms of selling things for passive income in your private practice, and what not to do. And yeah, you've inspired me. When I get home, I'm nearly in Corumburra. I'll be in Corumburra in 12 minutes apparently, which is good because it's 1:15 and I'm starving. I'm going to go home and I'm going to log in and see if I can access the site, and if I can, see if I can set up maybe an account or maybe a shop again. I'm not holding my breath, but you never know unless you look, right? So I'll go and have a look, and I'll let you know how it all went. But otherwise, have a really beautiful day. I think this is going to be Wednesday when you get it, unless I publish it sooner, which I might. But anyway, have a lovely day, guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
And that's a wrap for this episode of the Private Practice Podcast. So as you reflect on today's insights, imagine creating real success in your private practice without going down rabbit holes or exhausting yourself with business activities that don't move the needle. With Practice Momentum, you have push of a button help available on demand. It's like having an expert in your pocket ready to guide you whenever you need it. Visit brooklynstorme.com to discover how practice momentum can transform your approach to building a thriving practice. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and I'll see you next time as we continue exploring the mind, business, and spirit of private practice success.